First off, I apologize for not having a band shirt for this concert. I try to get a shirt every time I go to a concert, but I don't know, it eluded me that day. But anyways, I went to see Peter Frampton's Guitar Circus on, I forget the exact date. It was August-ish of 2013, I think. So, with that in mind, I'll just run right into it. So, the opening act was Sonny Landreth, who I'd never heard of before the show. And I mean, he's supposedly the king of slide guitar, and I mean, I don't really play slide a whole much, but just the stuff he was doing with it, like playing entire solos with it, I mean, it was impressive, but I don't know, it was enough. As somebody who is unfamiliar with Sonny Landreth's world, it was entertaining enough for me. However, it wasn't really the highlight of the show, and it wasn't supposed to be since he's the opening act, but I mean, his set was over in like half an hour, so they cleared the stage and spent like 10 minutes setting everything up for B.B. King. And oh man, B.B. King, that's something I'll remember. Because, okay, first off, he didn't even come on stage for the first 15 minutes of the set. Like, the whole first 15 minutes of B.B. King's set was just his, like, backup band playing everything. And I'm like, is that guy with the guitar who's standing up and looks way younger than 87 years old supposed to be B.B. King? Like, I was a little confused at first, but then they finally announced that B.B. King was coming out on stage, and I'm like, oh, now it makes sense. So, this really short, almost looking like he should belong in a retirement home guy came out, and I mean, this is B.B. King, by the way, who I'm talking about, and he looks a lot smaller in person than how he looks on camera, but he comes out, he sits down, he has his guitar, and the only thing I knew about B.B. King before going to the show is that his guitar was stolen back in 2008 or something, but he got it back a year later. So I guess good for him if he was able to get his guitar back. I mean, it's a nice ES335. I'm a fan of ES335s. I have a copy of an ES335 back in my other place, but they have a very unique tone, and I liked his guitar is what I'm saying, basically, at this point. But I have to say, for an 87-year-old coming out on stage, I mean, he had a lot of energy, he had a lot of zest, like, you could tell he was just happy doing what he's doing, and above all, he was just having fun with it. And I love it when I go to a concert when the first thing I notice is that the artist is just loving what they're doing, because that's just I don't want to call it the make or break thing for me, but it's it really makes a difference, because he was actually fist pumping at one point trying to get us rallied up to sing along to the chorus of one of his songs. And again, I'm unfamiliar with the world of B.B. King, so I don't know what songs they were. Like, they all sounded like old traditional blues songs. Like, my first guitar teacher was a blues guitarist, so I've heard a few blues songs in my day, but I have an appreciation for blues, but I can't name any big blues hits off the top of my head. But yeah, when's the last time you ever saw an 87-year-old fist pumping? I was just like, yes, yes, yes. I really liked seeing him on stage, and for the last maybe 10 minutes of the set, Peter Frampton came out and sat down next to him and like did a little improv back and forth, and that was pretty cool. But it was time for BB to go off stage, so he went off stage, and I could see in the corner, like back there, that like he was getting on a wheelchair and being wheeled off, and he needed help walking to get backstage too. And my first thought that came to mind is he must be getting too old for this gig. But it wasn't until after that that I looked him up, and like I found out that I think he had diabetes, so he lost one of his feet, and that's why he couldn't walk, and that's why he was in a wheelchair. But I mean, regardless, he put on a pretty nice set, and I had a lot of fun with it. And like that's the most important thing in my opinion. Like when it comes to making a great show, like a great live set, it doesn't matter what pyrotechnics you use or what lights or the movie screen that comes up. Like the big thing that makes a show for me is energy slash if you can tell the artists are having fun doing what they're doing. So, and BB had that. And thankfully, when Frampton came out about 20 minutes later, he had that too. So I enjoyed Frampton's set. Oh, and by the way, BB played for about an hour, I would say. And then Frampton came out and played for something like 2 hours. I'm not a big Frampton fan. The only big songs of his I've really heard before are, of course, Do You Feel the Way I Do? And, what's it called? I Want You to Show Me the Way. Yeah, that was the other big song I heard from him. But, like, regardless of that, I mean, he's a talented musician. He did some pretty cool guitar solos. And I can't believe I forgot to mention this. Vinnie Moore came out as a surprise guest. Like, he wasn't in the booklet or anything. It was literally a total surprise. Like, he's like, and now we're going to invite a musical, a surprise musical guest, Vinnie Moore. And Vinnie came out and he did 2 songs from his most recent album at the time. And I'm not a Vinnie Moore fan either. So I don't even begin to ask me what the songs were or what album it was from. It was like whatever was released in 2012 or 2013, around that time. So that was cool. He did some soloing with Peter Frampton. Now, I mean, he's an awesome guitarist. Like, one of the classic 80s shredders from the time is my guess. Like, I haven't done a whole lot of research on him, and I haven't looked up a whole lot of his music. But it was awesome to see him on stage, and I was thoroughly impressed, and it was really cool. The one song I will always remember from that set is his cover of Soundgarden's Black Hole Sun. He opened the song by saying, "And now I'm going to play a cover of my most favorite song in the whole world." And then he did, you could probably look it up on YouTube too, the instrumental Black Hole Sun cover. And it was awesome, first of all. And also, the guy next to me, like to my right, was this really like metal-looking guy with a beard, long black hair, and a black metal-y t-shirt. And he knew all the words to the song. He was not only singing along, but he was belting them out like, "Black Hole Sun!" And that was just, that added to the awesomeness. Because I'm just like, this guy gets it. And, it was great. Oh, and I know every time he does Do You Feel the Way I Do, he does it like a little differently, just like talking back and forth to the audience. And the one notable thing I remember him saying is, I was in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania to see this show, by the way. So when he was talking, like, he was like talking to his little microphone box thing, and he's like, "Thank you, Bethlehem, Pennsylvania." That's a difficult word to say. Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania. And, like, that was funny. It got a laugh out of me. Like, I grew up in Pennsylvania, so that's that was a funny thing for me. So, aside from the fact that the concert was something like 4 hours long, the length didn't really bother me. It was overall a really fun concert. A lot of awesome guitar playing, like, and I really appreciate the music. And even though I was totally unfamiliar with the artists and the songs, I still had a great time, and I'm glad I went.